Welcome to this cast of the Norwegian Community Tournament Silver League Final. It is a best of 9 set with a map pool, save draft, and also some other game modes mixed in, like Empire Wars for Game 4 and a Death Match for Game 7. So a bit of a mix of styles here. I'm curious to see how the players will solve it, but we're starting with our standard Arabia for Game 1, and the finalists are Myzel versus Aksel the Great. They are both in the 1500s range 1v1, so should be a fairly even matchup. Now, talking about the civs here, I see Myzel picking Huns. I've never seen Myzel play with Huns. Never. So that fascinates me a little bit, but Myzel likes his monks. And looking at the Huns monks tech tree, it's not horrible. They're missing redemption and herbal medicine, block printing. You probably want that if you're going for monks, but Myzel is going to make monks anyway. So he just basically does that every game. So we have two interesting players here. Myzel, a very original player, never two similar Myzel games, whereas we have Aksel the Great, who is admittedly, in my opinion, much more meta-bound player. His wood likes his archers, builders. I've seen him go archers, and yeah, with Magyars maybe we'll be going either men-at-arms archers or simply into the scouts with instant forging in Fuel Age. We'll see. So we could talk a little bit on the maps here. Great back gold for Aksel the Great. We have a woodline here that you could wall towards the edge and then you'd secure the back gold, no problem. And you have a gold in the back here as well. Pretty open to the sides though, but full walls, potentially an option here for Aksel the Great. He's with 3 on wood for now. Let's see if he stays with 3 on wood, so that could suggest the scouts build here from Aksel the Great. Bringing in all the sheep as well. All naming except straggle trees is allowed in this tournament. On the other side, we have Myzel here with the Huns, as previously mentioned. Huns will usually be on the aggressive side, so having an extremely open map like here for Myzel isn't necessarily a hinder, because you'd be spewing out units anyway, never needing to build houses. So you just stay on the aggressive side. Oh, garrison. There we go. Oh. Alright, taking quite a bit of HP off Aksel, the Great Scout here, meaning that the Scout's opening could be slightly weakened there. You'd still have the free or instant forging though, so not the worst loss ever. 4 on wood for Myzel. I'm not even going to try and speculate what is up to here, because yeah, Myzel likes his infantry openings. We might see kind of a drush here, and extended drush, or could see scouts, we'll probably see some cab archers at some point. But looking at Myzel's map, it's not the prettiest ever. 2 forward golds here, 1 on the hill, 1 right downside the hill, so you really want control of this one for the later game. Thanks for the follow, Chameleon2222. Appreciate it. Here comes the barracks down for Myzel. It's going down at 17 pop, suggesting a rather early drush. Let's see if Myzel's taking any stones. There could also be an early scout, but judging from the food count, I don't think that's the case. Aksel the Great with 4 on food there and lots on boar, taking the cow, and still with 3 on wood. It's definitely going to be the scouts here for Aksel. Magyars are cheaper scouts as well, so you have an easier time managing the map actually. Aksel should be on point here, seeing the barracks going up. Actually, before the mills, that suggests a pre-mill drush for Myzel here. Could have a scout run in here at some point. There's the 10 gold to sustain loom after queuing 3 militia as well. Will you spectate all the best of 9? These are from recorded games, so I'm going to cast... oh, come on, Palm. Yes, I will cast all of the games in the best of 9. I just downloaded the recordings. These are unfortunately recorded games. They've spread it out over more days here. So so I decided to cast them as a complete set after they'd finished. So they finished the last few ones today. 3 angry housewives moving forward here. Exclamation mark housewives for the story behind those. These angry housewives, pretty short haircut here with rolling pins in their hands, trying to harass these men here near the walling. No walls for Aksel the Great. Myzel says no to walls. And we'll get a villager pick here, I think. Let's see, or a scout pick. Good trade as well. One less scout for Aksel to benefit from in the feudal age, which he is admittedly going to reach at 19 pop here in about 20%. Is it possible that you will spectate my promo game too? When and what is that, Jørgen, or the pony? Hi, Sonrimo. Nice to see familiar names tuning in here, and familiar names with new names as well. And the pony, if you're thinking about that King of the North game with Don Domingos, then I will hopefully cast that like on yeah, sometime next week. Have some nomad matches to catch up with. I have to prioritize my own tourney after this one, but we'll see what happens. Okay, angry housewives doing work here, getting at least one, I think, maybe 2 villager kills. Aksel the Great is down 7 villagers, and even with Myzel going up to the feudal age now and going for his very extensive Hans walls, he has gained great value from his forward and will be set up nicely for his what might be a fast castle here. Looking at the farms and the golds and the wood disposition here, I think Myzel is preparing for the castle age and knights or archers, and that was amazing damage from a drush indeed. Absolutely agree. Flampop and Coster played amazing. That sounds good. Glad to hear that. I'm thinking about it. Depends on when I'm finished with the second round of my Nomad Cup. But if I somehow finish to cast all those after today and Monday, I'd do some King of the North from Tuesday. Otherwise, it will be Thursday or Friday for King of the North, I think. Aksel going for the walls here as well. I think he actually decided not to commit for the scouts now because he's... well, he's made one, but that's also nice to have for scouting purposes. After losing one to the rush, loses it again, but at least delays some walling here. Oh, you were sick that day. Sorry to hear that. Is it a group stage, by the way, your lower elo bracket, or is it a single elimination? Walls and gates going up from Myzel to the side here. The Hunts player complete the wall, and look at the ranges. We are going for archers here, so that's going to be crossbows for... Oh, did the Red Scout get a wheel? Yeah, okay, I didn't see that. Then it's a good value. That's instant forging for you. The Ant-Man's teammate is another guy from Suomi, I think. Double range blacksmith for Myzel here is going into... Yeah, double ranges here and the barracks. He had that obviously from earlier on, but it's good to add some spears because the Magyars here will likely go for some... could potentially have had more scouts, even though Myzel wouldn't know that right now. And here comes the range from the Magyars play as well. Magyars are great cav archers, actually with the unique tech in the end. They are among the strongest, if not the strongest, cav archers in the game. Maybe comparable to Tatars as well. But it's cool that we have a matchup of 2 cav archer civs here. We might actually see some cav archers wars, considering that both players are going for the ranges. Aksel the Great is playing it defensive now, and he's great at that actually. If he can survive to the late game, he's gonna be good. Palm, the King of the North brackets are decided by the highest rated player, and I think they could choose which bracket to sign up for as well. and the highest prize pool is for the top bracket in the King of the North. It's like most of the prize pool. Have you changed that Arabia to an arena game? Yeah. Logan the hamster, you know it's Myzel. He always walls like this. He always makes hideout by the early game. So I hope we don't see stone walls though. Alright, some slight army harassment here. Fletching is in for Myzel. He has a significant military lead now. And as Aksel gets housed, that's not ever going to happen to Myzel here. I think Myzel needs something to deal with the skirms as well, though. If Aksel goes for mass skirms here, that's going to be a bit tougher for Myzel to handle. But right now, Myzel has the numbers advantage. He can take the fights. SJB 11. These matches were played during the last 3 days. Actually, they finished the last couple of games today because it's a best of 9, and yeah, we left it up to them to decide. And I, instead of casting parts of it live, I decided to collect the recorded games and then just cast it now. One stray scout forward for Aksel the Great. That's very optimistic, hoping to take out this stable here. And instant forging is not going to help this fight. Myzel takes that one with his... He actually has forging as well. So evens out the difference there, actually. That's a good call by Myzel. Oh, they didn't do all the 9 at once? No, actually they didn't. For the grand final, the Gold League final, we actually had a live set with best of 9 between AR12 and... Erikur. So they played all those matches live, but I mean, it's not that much at stake for this one. I don't mind if the players want to split up. We decided kind of late to have a best of 9 final, and then it's up to them if they want to split them up. It's a prize for the winner of the Silver League. Could be Myzel, I have to look into it. I think actually we decided to only have a prize pool for the Gold League. Aksel the Great is going to be first to the cast age here, so that's a good... Going to give him a good advantage. If he can get a few knights out before Myzel can get to the next age, then he could actually clean up this army pretty easily with his instant iron forging knights here. I'm looking at the scouting of the players though. Myzel and Aksel with roughly similar scouting here. With 15 army inside of Aksel's base, Aksel is going to struggle a little bit here still to keep them out. But with that castle chicken in, he already has the stables, so he could easily make just a few knights and hopefully fend this off. He needs to deal with the spears as well, of course, but that's the skirmisher's job. Didn't Akkal say something about $100? No, he didn't. But as always, Myzel's playing is priceless. Still, a solid piece of army here for Myzel. He's with 16 military inside of Aksel the Great space. He has a few scouts now with forging, no armor though. But as long as he dodges TC fire, he could use those 2 scouts to focus down skirmishers. Alright, nice scout microwave for Myzel, dodges the spear there, and now runs towards the TC again. That's going to cause some losses, I think, if Aksel chooses to garrison here. Maybe wants to keep the eco going here. I'm not sure why Aksel didn't actually garrison here. Knights are out on the field, and now the spears are out of the picture. Now we have a couple of knights and some skirmishers left here to deal with Myzel's last forward. But Myzel is fully walled at home now. He is on the way to the cast stage as well, albeit later than Aksel, but with a 20 villager lead. So Myzel going into the cast stage here with a lot stronger economy. 11 on gold now. I'm wondering if he wants to go for a continued archers into crossbows play here, or if cav archers may be on the agenda here. We'll have to see what happens. Just a moment, I forgot to update my stream title here. So I'm just gonna do that and toggle Myzel's point of view for a little while. Alright, off with Wheelock we go. It is Aksel on the forward now, trying to exploit his earlier castle age here. He is severely behind in eco, I would say by now, but he has some army on the field. And yeah, military numbers roughly similar. Forward siege workshop, let's see what that can do for Aksel. He needs to break through, he needs to deal some serious damage to this eco, and admittedly, Myzel's economy for now, these farms are very exposed. He has a long way to run back to the TC, so if Aksel's knights can get through somehow, then we're looking at some serious damage output here. Could use the skirmishers to try and deny quick walls and break through just ASAP with these knights that have +2 instantly. So Nirva says Myzel has so much res, faster imp maybe. Absolutely an option, but looks like Myzel wants to commit to cast stage here with a couple of TCs. And also, yeah, going into the Cav Archers as speculated here. Right, Palisade Walls, no match for the Mangonel here. Aksel the Great is now hopefully going to run in and try and do his best to deal damage to Myzel here. Myzel only with the Cav Archers for now, a few pikes, but only +1 on the pikes here, that Mangonel will go down, but the Knights in return will raid Myzel's base and yeah, get some villagers here for sure. 3 villagers down already, another one here, University and Town Center, and Myzel is producing bonks, but it's only gonna have 1 out now and get maybe 1 conversion in here. And as Adolf says, Cav Archers is not a good idea if you're going for a triple TC boom, that's for sure. Because you need lots of wood into farms to sustain your triple TC production. And then that leaves, of course, a lot less wood for the Cav Archers until your triple TC boom can kick in some minutes later. And looking at the numbers here, Aksel has done a great job at making his use of his earlier castlage timing here. He's caught up in builders. Admittedly, with Myzel's 3 TCs, he might be able to catch up as time passes. And cleans up Aksel's small forward here, but the villager counts have evened out, and Aksel should be looking at a stronger economy moving forward. Cav Archers raids are going to be an issue though, because Aksel right now only has 5 military to respond here. Myzel with the pikes to take out the small forward production here of Aksel. Aksel probably going into skirms again against the Cav Archers. Knights and skirms are in general a strong combo though in many cases. But it doesn't help having a forward goal being exposed. And I'm wondering also as well why Aksel the Great is taking this gold and not the back gold from the very beginning. I mean, it seems risky to take a forward goal, especially when you have a mobile sib with Cav Archers likely on the menu. +1 defense for the Knights in numbers. They could contest the Cav Archers here, but with only +1 they will not survive as many shots as if they had +2. They need preferably that second armor ASAP here, and that's on the way for Aksel the Great for his now 8 Knights. Alright, so a mix of pikes and Cav Archers and knights and scouts here for Myzel. That's a bit of an AI army right here, and that's not the easiest thing to counter actually, because you'll have to be careful with your units not to have the knights running into the pikes. But now when +2 is in, so Aksel has more defense on this army here, might be able to fend this off after all. Needs to bring in the skirmishers. Still only 2 skirmishers, but could garrison the TC here for some extra damage output. Myzel is missing the second defense upgrade for his cav archers as well. Means that they are more vulnerable to skirmisher fire and town center fire if they move too close. Doesn't look like the best run in for Aksel here though. The pikemen have +2 attack, which applies to the knights as well, of course. Myzel gets that to counter the Magyar's Civ bonus with the melee attack upgrades kicking in instantly. Defensive Siege Workshop now for Aksel the Great. Maybe wants to get some Scorpions out. I think that's the best option here against this combination of mainly pikes and cav archers here. Myzel is out with the monks collecting relics. Already has 2 of them. That's some free gold income for him. Okay, it's a mangonel from Aksel the Great actually. That's a bit surprising to me. You'd be very dependent on hitting those shots, and with the cav archers hit and run potential, they just easily dodge the mangonel shot by splitting or running away. But let's see if Myzel pays attention here. I want to note that Myzel has taken the villager lead again as well. He's with a 14 villager lead now and more military overall. KDs are pretty similar, but Aksel admittedly behind in economy still here. Although it was looking good with the early Castle Age, he is forced to defend and will be up against larger numbers of Myzel soon enough. 3 monks forward, cav archers, siege going to enter as well. And this TC is just begging to be siege pushed. Once again, okay, I guess the idea of this TC is to have secure this small woodland and the gold, but if you want to... Just seems risky to have the TC this forward and close to any potential enemy siege push forward. Monks also heal up your units, so we're going to see the pikes at almost full HP here soon. 2 mangonels forward. I'm going to toggle Myzel's point of view now to show the eco division. Is with 3 TCs at home, extended to lots of farms here, but has been mainly committing to cav archers, but now switching to pikes and siege and some rams here. So Myzel has made an opening with his mangonels here. Aksel could get a fantastic shot in here on these slow-moving units, but it's still risky to move too close. There we go, there's a dodge. Mangonel close enough to the TC to be protected, although the pikes might get the hit here in the end, actually. Oh, nice repair micro from Aksel here. Is actually keeping this mangonel alive. Could get a 2-for-1 here if we get lucky. And they apparently they have a pause in the in the middle of the mangonel micro here, but looks like it worked out. 3 mangonels against 1 though, and almost a dodge there for Aksel the Great, but gets a 1-for-1. That's a decent trade after all. Myzel is playing Huns to its full potential here, just constant forward, supplying army endlessly, more villagers, more military overall, few more deaths, but then as mentioned earlier, with the stronger eco can go for an earlier Imperial Age, and that might very well be the death blow here. Aksel on 3 TCs and producing consistently, dropping a few houses here, maybe some panic houses to make sure he doesn't get pop capped in the middle of production here. Fence off a little bit of the forward here, but Myzel has some presence at the side here with cav archer. Has some monks to heal up the units in the back here, and is also 30% Imperial Age with Aksel admittedly very far away from that Imperial Age click himself. Myzel backing off for a little bit here. He's only with 9 on gold, extending with another town center now. 2 more town centers actually to take control of golds here. And this is the hill I was talking about earlier in the cast, that it's imperative for Myzel to secure that somehow, and he's kind of securing it in the fact that he is moving forward with his army and keeping Aksel constantly at home, not allowing any counterattack. Aksel manages to deny this TC for a little while though, so that's good value from these weak knights. Oh, thank you for the raid, Black Adder's Place. I appreciate it. So, yeah, we're casting the Norwegian Community tournament here. It's the Silver League Final. We've already casted the Grand Finals a couple of days ago. But, yeah, 16-player bracket with mainly players from the... Mainly Norwegian players, actually, but through the Norwegian AOE Discord, where we have players like Myzel from Germany as well. And the Gold League was actually won by a German, who was AR12 in a tight set against Erikur, which ended... which went to 8 games, if I'm not mistaken, so it was pretty tight, best of 9 after all. But this is the first game of the Silver League best of 9 final. This is casted from recorded games, and we see Myzel here with the Huns applying constant pressure to his enemy here, as Huns can do, never needing houses. Quite a few games indeed. Yeah, but it's fun to have a little bit more action in the actual finals. Nice dodge here by Myzel, gets that Mangonel in the end, but going to be short-lived with this knight running in and sniping it. Aksel the Great decides that the pressure is too much to handle here, falls victim to Myzel's Huns here on Arabia, and the GG is called, and let's have a look at the stats before moving on to the next one. Yeah, 8,000 score from Myzel in the end. KD not too dissimilar, but the eco is going to show stronger for Myzel. Early 3TC boom. Later cast age, but with 20 more population going into the cast age. That's, or villagers rather, which is a huge difference all in all. Imperial Age as the only player as well means that Huns will have access to Siege Ram, even Elite Tarkin to take out buildings if you can get to it. And then we have the slight villager high from Myzel in the end, but also already 700 free gold from the relics.